Hello, once again, everyone. I'm your host, Ray Shasho, and welcome to another edition of Interviewing the Legends. David Fishof has had a successful career as a sports agent, producer, promoter, manager, and the founder and CEO of Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp. Whether he's producing a tour, assembling the All-Starr band with Ringo Starr, or writing a best-selling book, David Fishof is always dreaming. Hailed as one of the most creative and innovative entertainment producers in the world, Fishof has worked with Roger Daltrey, the Monkees, Levon Helm, and more. He resides in Los Angeles and is the proud father of 5, grandfather of 7, and husband of Karen Finkel. Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp was created 25 years ago to provide real people the once-in-a-lifetime experience of connecting and jamming with their musical heroes. The camp has provided unforgettable memories, advice, and feedback for attendees worldwide. Camp events span over 4 jam-packed days where campers join a band mentored by today's top touring musicians and work up to the final performance with the headliner, Rockstars, at legendary venues from Abbey Road Studios in London to Hollywood's Whisky A Go-Go, to the Atlantis resort in the Bahamas. Please welcome rock producer, sports agent, and founder of Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp, David Fishof, to Interviewing the Legends. Hello, David.
How are you? You know, I am a legend in my own mind. Yeah, no, it's been good, but the only thing that's wrong in that bio is I had an 8th grandchild recently. So,
oh, congratulations!
Yeah,
wow.
So that's what I take. That's the pride, the kids, having kids and grandchildren.
Yep.
And to me, that's really what it's about too. Because in 100 years from now, it will make a difference what you've accomplished in your life, how much money you have, what kind of car you drive.
Exactly.
What you've done in the life of a child.
Yeah, so I got 5 grandkids, and
terrific!
I love to babysit.
Alan King, the late Alan King, had a great line. He said, "If I knew how great grandchildren were, I would have had them first."
Yeah, yeah, he was a great comedian. David, I did baseball fantasy camp with the Orioles in 1990. I play some guitar.
Oh,
I've
cool.
interviewed many of the music legend camp mentors, a lot of them. So naturally, I'm excited to chat with you today.
Thank you. Yeah, camp's amazing. I just got back from a 4-day camp. I did a Beatles versus Stone theme. I had Ace Frehley from Kiss, jamming Stones and Beatles songs. Nels Klein from Wilco. No one could camp. They couldn't play his stuff, so they all jammed Beatles. He's an amazing guitar player. And then we had Chuck Leavell of the Rolling Stones, keyboard player, and he jammed with every band in front of their families and friends at the cutting room in New York. It was quite a, these camps, they're 12 hours a day.
Yep.
They're a lot of work for the campers and for me and the counselors. But the feeling that people come out of there was such hard work. It's just so amazing that all they want to do is come to the next one.
Yep.
So, you're doing your passion for 4 days.
I promise I will do a camp one day. I'll admit I'm a little intimidated, not by the mentors, but by the other campers, because some of those guys are pretty good.
So that's a great point. The campers, people are scared. There's no question, the fear factor that to come the first time, to come to camp. But you're right. The mentors are great. They welcome you. Jeff Beck welcomes you. They know what you are.
Right.
And the campers, they're really good now because, we put you in bands in advance with the power of Zoom today. And then we can go on Zoom and you can meet your bands in advance. You can do a pre-interview, decide which band you want to be in. And what I love about camp is that it's really bringing up everybody in the same, people never met before, and they're all out for the same goal. And to get to that final night where the band's going to be really perfect. And, you see it grow throughout the 4 days. And, Tony Robbins, he says, if you want to do something and do it right, you got to immerse yourself in it. And Rock Camp is a great opportunity to really immerse yourself in this opportunity. And after 4 days, you come back playing, your musicianship just gets better. Your songwriting gets better. Your love for music, your confidence. And that's what I love about camp. how many campers were at this past camp who've never been on stage before,
Right.
never been in a band. They were in a beginner band, and they got mentored. And you know, here you see, you know, people doing leads and rhythm and singing and just getting the confidence that they can go back home and get into a band.
So if you're a mediocre guitar player, you don't have to feel bad. You will.
Not at all. And
Okay.
if you know, listen, even the advanced person, the person
Right.
comes in and he says he's advanced. So I love going to the rock stars and saying, hey, this guy says he's advanced. Is he really advanced? He says, David, he says, I play my guitar 5 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
I play with my fingers. You know, Keith
Right.
Richards
Yep.
or Joe Walsh, the greatest guitar players, Jeff Beck, they play 5 hours a day just to keep their hands. You can't just go to work all week and then show up to a gig on Sunday
Right.
and expect to be advanced. You know, you really have to really put into, you know, play, you know, I mean, you know what, it's a guitarist. So, you know, everyone likes to rate themselves and there are a lot of great players, but there's a lot of beginners, people who just, you know, picked up a guitar 6 months ago. And I love it because I have different mentors who like it. So for example, Alan White, the late Alan White,
Yeah.
who we just dedicated this past camp to, Alan White would say to me, David, I need a great band because to play Yes music and my music is very difficult. And then you get a guy like Spike Edney, who's the musical director of Queen, and he says, give me the worst band. He says, I'll make them the best band. And, you know, to me, the making of a band of rock camp is no different than a football coach. You know,
Right.
you have
True.
Bill Belichick, he gets the same draft picks every year as every other coach. And he tends to win because he knows how to coach a team. And I think that's really what these rock star mentors are about. I tell them you're record producers, and you could take all these people and make them into the best band you can.
I had Gary Hoey, the blues guitar
Ah.
player, on recently, and
One
you
of my
guys
favorites.
actually got a camp in Florida, which is cool.
One of my favorites, Gary Hoey. He gets it.
Yeah.
He's been doing this for 10 years for me.
He loves it.
He builds up more fans at camp. You know, he's always finding 80 new fans to attend the shows.
Yep.
Because he's so giving. He's so giving, and you know, it's not everybody can be a rock mentor, rock camp. You have to have patience.
True.
You have to want to give back.
Right.
You know, I asked Jeff Beck, I said, why did you do the camp? He said, you know, I felt it was the only way I could really give back musically.
Yeah.
And I teach people. And I think that's what it is for a lot of people. They love the mentoring and they love taking a band that's never, you know, and putting them together and being proud of them. They're like
Exactly.
proud fathers and mothers up there. Yeah, it's so true.
Well, I love the book. I saw the movie. The movie's great. And I love how they come up with names of the band. That was so cool.
The fun part. You know, this past camp, they didn't do a great job. This was the
Really?
worst camp. I couldn't, I was so disappointed. Because I wasn't strict with them on it.
Mhm.
So, or else I didn't get the final names. But I love when they name their bands, you know.
One
You love the
great
movie.
thing.
The movie was great. The guy, he did a great job. It took 5 years to make.
Really?
But at the end,
Huh.
yeah, there was 90 terabytes of materials. But Doug Bush, I give him credit. You know, it's not easy, you know, because everyone has a great experience at camp. But no matter what, the movie is great. But unless you're there and seeing it and witnessing it, it's nothing like it.
One great thing about the movie was the stage fight. Joe Walsh, Levon Helm. That was awesome.
It was awesome, but as we talk about it now, but at the time, I got to tell you, it was scary. I saw my house go right down the Hudson River.
It looked so real. It scared me. I said, "Wow,
it looks so real."
Yeah.
You know, that Joe Walsh, he's amazing.
Yeah,
He is so talented in
He
every
is.
which way. You know, his IQ is like above everybody else's, and what he did last week for the vets, and he's just really dedicated. But you know, you talk to any of his tour managers over the years, and you know, I spoke to a guy recently, and he said his room was next to Joe. Always wanted his tour manager next to him, and he said I came into my bed one night. And I went to lie down, and the whole bed was full of ice. You know, Joe he would do, you know, you need to keep him used on the road, you know. So, you
That's
know,
funny.
he did some crazy things.
I want to thank you personally because I've covered Ringo Starr's All-Star Band several times. I've covered the Happy Together tour. You know, I know all those guys as well.
Sure.
You're amazing, man, for putting
Uh,
those shows together. I want to thank you
right.
for that.
People wouldn't believe that those shows would still be out there touring.
Oh
You
my
know, and
God.
people say, "What a stupid idea! You put
No,
Ringo
no, 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 no.
Starr in, and that gonna work."
Yeah.
Well, I gotta tell you something. And to me, Ringo's, as he's gotten older,
Right.
people are going to see Ringo. But in the beginning, they were going to see Joe Walsh and Levon Helm, and they'd never seen a Beatles, so they go to see
Hmm.
Ringo. But I put together some great bands back then, and I'm proud of the work I did. It was a lot of work. Happy Together. So glad that those guys are still out there working. That there's an audience. I happen to love that music, so I'm proud that they're out there doing it and giving the audience. I don't believe people should ever retire. So
I agree. And they don't want to retire.
they don't want to retire. You know what? I remember Roger Daltrey said a line to me one day. He said, I'm jealous of Joan Rivers. She did a show, then she went to a doctor and she died. he says she went right from the stage. And a lot of artists are like that. They need that
Yep.
stage.
Paul Kattner told me that. He said he's going to die on stage,
Yeah, that's what they want to do. I don't blame them.
Poor Joan Rivers.
What?
Joan Rivers, she shouldn't have died.
No.
I love Joan Rivers. She was awesome, man.
Yeah.
I saw her in Vegas a couple of times. She was incredible.
What's interesting? I think what's interesting with the performers, like you said, they need the stage. They love the stage.
That's right.
And it's where they feel most comfortable, So, and the feedback from the audiences. So, I love McCartney still touring at 82 and Ringo's at 83 and Mick Jagger's still working. Unlike those baseball fantasy camp you went to, those guys at 35, 40, because I'm a Red Sox fan, they can hit the ball over the fence, But these rockers are still today working, selling out arenas. And what's cool is, you can't be the fantasy of being a baseball player once you pass 30, 35.
Right.
But you can be a musician. You can write songs at every age. So that's why while I love baseball fantasy camps, and I used to do them years ago with Lou Pinello, we did Kiss Camp.
Oh,
this is totally not different.
Tampa guy.
These artists are selling.
Yeah. That's awesome,
so
man.
let me ask you a question. If you went to baseball fantasy camp, where's Aaron Judge going?
That's a good question. They're talking about the Mets, right?
I see the Mets coming up with big money for him.
That's what I think.
I think San Francisco is going to come up with big money.
Yeah.
And I think the Dodgers are going to surprise all of you.
I wish the Orioles would grab him. I'm an Oriole fan, of course.
Okay, so I'm going to interview you. I was at the Orioles game
the
night that the lights went out. Randy Myers was I represented Randy. I have his he gave me his Rolaids relief that year. That was an incredible year, if you remember. The guy didn't miss anything. He was unbelievable.
Yeah.
So I was at the game where the lights went out and they canceled the game.
Oh, wow.
You remember that story?
Yeah, I do. I think I do remember that. Yeah. That was at Camden Yards, right?
Camden Yards, in the stadium.
Yep.
And the lights went out, and your Cal Ripken Jr.
Yep. Yeah, I played with Brooks Ropp. I was up the plate, and Brooksy was at third base.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Brooksy was great. He was a
Earl
great guy.
Weaver was one of the managers.
Yeah.
Paul Blair, Lee May, all those guys were there.
Oh, Paul Blair, great guys. Yeah,
I loved it, man.
I have to do a Red Sox one. If Cardi Scrumsy goes, I'll go.
I used to love the Red Sox when I grew up. Petrocelli,
I got my picture. I got a picture up on my wall of Jim Lomborg.
Oh, Longborg. He was great.
He was great. Yeah.
He should have been in the Hall of Fame. Him, Dave McNally, Mike Cuellar, they all should have been in the Hall of Fame, I think.
Oh, yeah.
I really think so. You'd probably know a lot of the guys I know. Jeff Albright, John Lappin, Eddie Camoli. You know those guys?
I know Jeff.
You know Jeff, right? Yeah. He was involved with the Happy Together. As a matter of fact, he was the guy who used to hook me up with all the interviews for Happy Together.
Oh, really? I didn't. Yeah, my associate, a fellow named Howard Silverman, he does it now, and I did it. And then once I signed Ringo in '89, I think I did Ringo in '89. he turned to me and said, "Oh, you can't represent me and the Turtles and the Monkees." So I said, "Oh, okay," and I got it. He wanted me to represent Joe Walsh and Levon Helm, and be that part of rock and roll. And
Right.
I'm forever grateful to Ringo Starr. He moved me. He
Yep.
moved me up to a greater level of rock and roll and music, and taught me a lot. So then I said to Howie, "You know what? You take the bands, and you have fun with them." We had so many. We had the Village People and Tommy James and the Shondells and the
Yep. I know Tommy.
Grassroots.
Yeah.
Love those guys.
Me
Gary
too.
Puckett. I
Gary
still
Puckett.
love Gary Puckett.
That's right. How about Mark Lindsay?
I like Mark Lindsay. I
Yeah.
wasn't that much into him. I watched him on television growing up, but my favorite's still Puckett,
Puckett.
and he's got that amazing voice.
I tell you what Mark did for me, which, my sister-in-law had cancer, and she sent me the original Paul Revere albums, and I gave them to Mark backstage at a Happy Together tour, and he talked to my sister-in-law on the phone.
Wow.
And she passed away like a year later. But
wow,
that was very nice of him. Yeah.
Yeah, Mark. Listen, he got his due. He's
Yep.
quite a talent.
He
Remember,
is.
we came home from school every day. We watched him
Yep.
on the beach, Paul Revere, and
Mhm.
it was great. And the Monkees. I love the Monkee show.
Speaking of the Monkees, the 20th anniversary tour, you did that. I was there. I saw that tour.
That was amazing. Where'd you see it?
At Wolf Trap in Virginia. I'm originally from DC, but now I live here in Florida.
I love Wolf Trap.
Yeah.
It's one of the every artist loves to play Wolf Trap.
Right. It's a nice
we
venue.
did a few nights there, Wolf Trap. That tour got so big,
Mhm.
and eventually it sold out stadiums and arenas, and we went back and did all. It was a year never to be forgotten, and probably a year no one will ever. Listen, it motivated bands like the Rolling Stones to get back on the road, because they said if the Monkees could do it, so can we. So a lot of people got they got blessed with that.
Yeah. I can't believe 3 of the Monkees are gone. 2 of the Beatles are gone. I mean, what's up with that, man? Jeez.
Well, I'll tell you what's interesting. I went on Saturday night. I was able to get 2 hours off from the camp.
Right.
And I went and I bought a ticket to see the new Neil Diamond show on Broadway. And, I'm a believer. They credit the Monkees with helping make Neil Diamond's career with I'm a Believer.
That's right.
Songwriter. And the show is amazing. I could have sat through 8 hours of it. It was so good. It's going to make a fortune on Broadway.
I love Neil Diamond. I'm sad he retired,
You know what? It's a shame because he's got ALS, or he's got some Parkinson's. But let me tell you something. That show is unbelievable.
Another good show, Donna Summer. I know Bruce. I know Bruce Sedano. He's kind of a friend of mine now. It was Donna Summer's husband, of course, and put that show together. And the Gloria Estefan show is pretty good too. I saw that here in Sarasota.
Yeah, I didn't see that, but I heard only good things about it. So let me tell you a little bit about my book.
Let's talk about the book.
Out there. It's called Rock Camp.
Yep.
I wrote this book for the benefit of the Rock Camp, the Rock and Roll Foundation.
Okay.
So the Rock and Roll Foundation is a group of gentlemen and ladies who've come to Rock Camp for many, many years, and they realized the life-changing experience that the camp offers. And they decided that they came to me and they said, we want to create a foundation where we can send young people to your camp so they can get an experience and we could change their lives. And I agreed to do it. And I said, I'm there to help you, whatever it takes. And I said, I'm about to make a deal with a book publisher to release my book. How about I give you guys all the net revenues, and I'll donate the book to you.
Wow.
The book is written in honor of one of my campers' wives, Pam Morris,
Mm-hmm.
the late Pam Morris, who came to every camp and was encouraging all the musicians there. And the book really, it takes the history of Rock and Roll Fans Camp for the last 25 years, and it's interviews with the Roger Daltreys and Paul Stanleys, and there's a lot of interviews, and then also all the counselors, Gary Hoey,
right,
and then all the campers, their lives. And it's while it's a quick read, it's a great motivational book, and a lot of great photos of the rock stars that participated. But but everybody should know that all the money is going to the net profits of the book, and you get it on Amazon, Rock Camp, and it's by me, David Fishof, and I wrote it with a writer, and it was really fun to do, and it really combines with the movie. You know, if you saw the movie, which
Movie's great.
Yeah, the movie's great. It's also Apple and Amazon, and
Yep.
hopefully get a lot more places.
Yeah, I'm going to post the link to the foundation as well. It's the mission is to change lives through music, which is great.
It's a great, and you know, you see the difference between these young people. Even at this last camp, they got the standing ovation, and they bring the bands together. You know, it doesn't make a difference what age you are, as long as you can play that instrument really well. You know, when you talk about being intimidated, some of these young kids can play better than these adults. You know, and they're sharp.
I know. That's true. I've seen some of these guys on YouTube, man, and they're incredible.
Incredible,
you know? Yeah. You had your book launch, which was officially announced on the 13th of November, and it was just before the Stones versus the Beatles rock camp.
Yes, we did it in New York at the cutting room. It was beautifully attended, and you know, it was really nice to see these campers talk about their lives and the stories. And one camper, Jim Carter, he came to my camp, and you know, he's gone on to raise $5 million for charities.
Wow!
And he right away bought 200 books. Says camp changes your life. I don't care what you've done in this world. Rock camp will change your life. And again, it has nothing to do with me. It has to do with these rockers. Why are they coming back? Why is Ace Frehley doing this for the third time? Why is Joe Perry doing it for 4 times? Why are these people doing it? It's because it reminds them what it was like when they first started, and they realize that they're able to give back, and in a fun way. And you know, they hang around camp like they're fellow musicians. So it's not one of the meet and greets where you go in and, you know, you see the meet and greets. I can't stand those. Here you really sit down, and Jerry Cantrell is sitting down having lunch with you, you know, and he wants to hear about, you know, what instruments you play. Let me see your guitar. Well, you know, let me see your hookups. Let me see your amps. You know, I want to see your stuff, and it makes it very exciting.
You know, it does kind of mirror the baseball fantasy camps, because we did the same thing. We had breakfast, you know, with the baseball players, and we talked stories, and you know, it was great. You know, and we had our mentors as well. You know, it's incredible, man.
You can't play baseball now.
Yeah, I know.
But you can be a musician. You can play away. You can write a song. Some of my campers have written some amazing songs, and
really, they're writing music too.
Huh. I did a Desmond Child camp last year with him, a songwriting camp, and you know, we don't promise a camp that you're gonna, you know, get anything out of it career wise, but I have to tell you, you know, I had a camper stop me on the street. The story in the book about a guy stops me on the street, and he says to me, "Mr. Fishof, we just got back from Russia," and I said, "What?" He says, "Yeah." He says, "My band opened for Aerosmith," and I said, "Wait a minute, your band opened?" He says, "Well, you know, I met Joe Perry's manager at the last camp, and I called up and I said, you know, our lead singer lives in Moscow, and we have a new band, and we're really doing well with our record." And so she said, "Send me the record. I'll show it to Joe." And
oh my goodness!
Showed it to Joe, and she said, "Joe, that this band wants to open for you in Moscow." And he says, "Where do I know him from?" He says, "The guy went to Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp." He says, "Let him open. Let him open." In front of 50,000 people, this guy's band played.
Well, today you never know, because you know, lead singers are going away, and now they're getting tribute band like Yes. You know,
well, you know, a lot of my campers are in tribute bands. They because that's what they graduate to, and then a lot of the regular bands are tribute bands. You're right. Yes is a tribute band.
You never know, man. You know, beside all these great tours you did, you also did Classic Superfest, which I didn't get to see that one. And the one I wanted to see was the British Rock Symphony, which I didn't get to see either. Didn't get to see that.
Let me tell you, that was my favorite show that no one ever saw.
Yeah.
It was incredible. And, you know, it's so funny because this at the Beatle camp, I added in the final night. You got to play with an orchestra of 15 people, horns and keyboards and violins. the British Rock Symphony record, which is available on
Hmm.
Apple and All Music. It's everywhere. I've never seen a penny royalty from it.
Yeah.
But I have to tell you, I made the record for at the time it was I think it was Decca. I forgot what label it was on, one of those labels. And it's the music of the Beatles, the Stones, Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, and the Who to with a symphonic background in a rock band. It's basically the Who band without Pete Townsend. It's Zach Starkey. It's all those guys performed on it. It's unbelievable. It's the sound. I have Nigel Kennedy doing While My Guitar Gently Weeps. Paul Rogers singing Beatles songs. Roger Daltrey singing a Beatles song. Ann Wilson singing Stairway to Heaven.
Hmm.
I got all these people to sing on this record. It is so beautiful. And they play a lot of it. You always see in the ballparks and the stadiums.
Yeah.
You'll hear that the Led Zeppelin version.
Right.
They play Ann Wilson on that all the time. So it's a great record, and it was a great tour.
John Anderson's on that too, I think, right?
John Anderson.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think John sings on it. Yeah,
Yeah.
John's an amazing friend. What a voice he has.
He's a great guy. Great guy. I'm surprised you didn't invent the rock cruises. That's right up your alley.
I turned that, years ago. It wasn't, it's funny. They came to me, and the problem with the cruises for me are, and I went on last year. I took my kids to see the Monkee, because Mike Des was passed away. He didn't make it, and the Beach Boy. And I gotta tell you, it's fun if you're into drinking and if you're into partying.
Right.
But it's hard to do a camp on there because I need places for people to perform and jam and when you're out doing that, you're competing with the sun and the alcohol. So half the band probably wouldn't even show up.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah,
I can see that. I'm gonna pull a name from your past now, and we got kind of a mutual thing there. My uncle was good friends with Herschel Bernardi.
Oh, now we're talking. My love.
They used to play cards together.
Really?
Yeah.
Where?
In Baltimore.
In Baltimore. Wow.
In Baltimore, yeah.
I call him Hesh. He was like a father figure
Hesh,
to me.
yeah.
He yelled at me, "Get out of the Catskills, get out of the Catskills," and I did. He taught me a lot about show business. I will have to tell you, a lot of lines he gave me. He was a father figure to me, and I was very, very lucky to have him for a short time. And the greatest thing I remember was I called him up and I said, "I'm doing the Monkees tour," and I came up with the idea that I wanted to get, instead of getting that regular guy who does the voice, it's coming live in concert. Since the Monkees were a TV show, I wanted to get a TV voice that you would recognize, and there was no one bigger in the business than a voiceover than Herschel Bernardi. He did Zenith, We Lock It In, You Lock It Out. He did Charlie. He was Charlie the Tuna.
Charlie the Tuna. Yeah.
So I called him up and I asked if he'd come to New York and read these interviews for me and read these radio these spots for the Monkees, and he did. And he came in, and then he was so sweet. He went to the recording studio, did them for me, and then the next thing you know, he goes home, and May 9th, 1986, he passed away. I remember the day. I was up at the rehearsal in the he said he wasn't feeling well. I went home, had a heart attack. He was a great man. Fun. Really my father of show business.
Wow. How many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll, center of a Tootsie Pop? He did that too.
Really?
Yeah, he did that. And he was a Jolly Green Giant.
Now his son, this is a great story, right? Jolly Green Giant, yes.
Yeah.
Jolly Green Giant. So his son, Michael Bernardi, was starring in Fiddler on the Roof.
Really?
On Broadway. And he was he was the backup to the lead in Fiddler, and he played the bartender.
Wow.
And I decided that I'm going to visit him and go see the show. And I went to this opening night, and I just flew into New York because I figured his father meant so much to me. I could be there for his son. And it was really a very, very special occasion.
I know you're Jewish. My father was Jewish. My father's family, all the family, they were Syrian Jews, which we call SYs.
Yeah,
and I wrote a pilot, a comedy pilot about growing up in the family business. It's based on my book, Okay. So I'm trying to pitch it right now, but I thought that would be so cool to bring that culture, the Syrian Jewish culture, in a funny way. And, the store, which you saw in New York, thousands of those retail electronic stores in New York. But
Holy
this was in
mackerel, that was
DC. This was in DC, the family
the
business.
Syrian Jews. I mean, it's amazing. I remember going to Walmart. I was in Walmart to pitch Walmart in that little
Uh-huh.
town of Arkansas, wherever they
Right.
are. And it was Friday, it was Thursday night, and there was a plane storm there. And I'm sorry, there's a rainstorm, and the planes wouldn't leave. And we all stayed in a hotel. And the next morning, there were more Syrian Jews that were heading back to Brooklyn, leaving Walmart.
Right.
And they chartered a plane and they took me on the plane and said, no, we have to get home for the Sabbath. And they were so dedicated. Syrian Jews are, yeah, they're quite amazing. Listen, I want to see the book.
Okay. I'll send it to you.
You got to send it to me.
I will
You'll have
send
my
it to
copy
you.
of my book.
I'll send it to Michelle, I guess, right? And she'll give it to you.
Not send it to me. I'll give you my address.
Okay, good,
187
good, good. You'll like it. And
187 North Harlan.
I'm
It's
trying to
easy.
pitch the sitcom now. I already wrote the script, so we'll see what happens.
So I have not to announce it. I'm not announcing it because I don't want to
Right.
jinx myself. But we're one of the big networks is doing a sitcom on Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp.
Oh, very cool.
And yeah, and
Very cool.
I was involved in picking the writer, and it looks like it's going to be a great one. So
Yeah.
hopefully, cross our fingers, we'll get a pilot, and
Yep.
we get the pilot approved. And it's a tough town. It's taken me a lot of
It
years.
is. Yeah, it is. But I admire you a lot because you have an idea like me. I was an entrepreneur. I had several businesses, lots of ideas, but I haven't taken it to the next level, and you did.
Well, you
Which
got to
I
read my
admire.
book, read
I
my
admire
book,
that.
Rock Your Business. It's a
Yeah,
great
that's it.
book on.
I'm going to buy that.
I wrote that book 10 years ago. I don't have any copies here, but it's a great book on taking an idea
Right.
and making it happen. And a lot of people walk around with an idea. Not only you. I just came back I was in Israel.
Right.
Everybody has an idea to do an app. Israel is, everyone, like in Hollywood here, everyone has a movie idea or a
Very
script idea.
intelligent. They're very
In
intelligent.
Israel, it's all about an app. They
Yeah.
created WhatsApp, they created Waze,
They're incredible. Yeah, you're right.
incredible what they've done there.
Yeah.
So, no, taking an idea from A to Z, and it's tougher today, but on the other hand, it's easier because you can reach people directly, and you don't have to rely on, you can create a series on your book on YouTube,
Right.
and you'll be surprised, but a series on YouTube will have more viewers than any of these networks.
I know.
So if you play smart.
Does it take a lot of money though? A lot of backing or sponsors or anything like that? What's
It takes sponsorship, it takes
Right.
backing, it takes taking a risk.
right?
But if you don't risk, big risk, big reward. Little risk, little reward. So yes, you have to take that chance or find backers who will take the chance. There are a lot of people who want to invest in movie ideas and television
Yeah.
ideas. Listen, I walked out of that Broadway show of Neil Diamond and said, boy, I wish I could have had an opportunity to invest in this thing because it's going to stay on Broadway for 10 years and going to collect checks,
Yeah.
So, in show business, there are people that have made a lot of money investing in it, and a lot of people have lost money. But
Sure.
I think if they invest, listen, it's a better investment than Bitcoin.
Yep.
Okay.
Or the stock market
So-
right now.
Better than the stock market. So
Exactly.
I think if people put away not silly money, but you
Yeah.
find enough people who have money who want to be involved in it.
Yep.
I raised the money for my film and through campers, and a lot of it came from them. But
Mhm.
you gotta, but you can raise the money, and I'm telling you, you should take this idea of yours and think about a YouTube series
Okay.
and get money from viewership, getting the money from sponsorships, and selling the books, and because it's very hard to make money. Even my network deal that I have,
Yeah.
the way to make money on the deal, the way to make money on the movie is not the movie and not the TV show. That's the exposure today.
Right.
It's almost like artists
Yep.
recording is the recording business is they don't make their money on records. They make their money touring.
Yep. That's the truth. I know the breakdown of how much they make, and it's like that after it's all said and
Nothing.
done. You know,
Nothing more. Yeah, they
people
have to
don't
stay on
realize
Broadway.
that. Yeah,
Right.
but it's not about the money for me. I just want to tell the story. I think
Oh
it's
no, I think
you
you
know,
should, and I think that I think if you've written the script, I think
yeah,
you won't believe how much you can produce a show today.
yeah,
On these Apple cameras
mm,
and and the editing, and there's so many young kids coming out of Full Sail,
yeah,
coming out of
exactly.
NYU. You
Yep,
got to hit one of those movie
yep.
people and to tell the story and give them the script, and you'd be really surprised how I just showed like Ringo came out with a video that he put up. And, I know it's a college kid who did all that background and the color stuff. And the people today, and I'm not telling you in America, I'm telling you, you can find people,
Mhm.
you know, in foreign countries who record, who make soundtracks. There's such a world out there
Mhm.
of people that you can connect with that can do this stuff on the cheap
Right,
in
right,
our
right.
union, in our union.
The
And then
difference
we
between you
start.
and me,
Yeah.
you're a great self promoter, and I'm better at promoting other people.
Well, I listen, but when I did that film, I did not want to be in that film. I did that film because I didn't want to be in it. My whole goal was to promote the rock stars and the councils. I love promoting everybody else but me.
Hmm.
I learned from Ringo when we would be on tour. I'd give him an interview, and he'd say, "Oh, give it to Nils, give it to Joe Walsh."
Right.
He was always giving it to the people, and I love that. I don't need the publicity. I want to really promote these other people, and
Hmm.
I don't think that you have to worry about that. If you have a great story, because
Hmm.
content is king,
Right.
there's so many networks that need shows. So, in my feeling is
True.
to do the pilot, do a couple episodes on your own,
Right.
not a lot of money, and then they can go through, because people while people have to see scripts, I would say 85% of the shows that you see today on television, there was a pilot made, or
Hmm.
because to visualize. I think scripts are hard to visualize.
Yeah. There's so many shows about kidnapping and murder and this, and
Your
it's
show would
just
be funny.
different.
Listen, there's a comedian. Check up a comic called Modi,
Okay.
Modi.
All right.
He's the new hot, the new Jackie Mason.
Right. Right.
He's trying to pitch his own series. It's great, but I told him you got to make a pilot. You got to do something,
Sure.
and pilots work. And listen, George Harrison used to have to make a demo and pay for it on his own to get a record deal.
That's
So
right.
you know,
Yeah. George financed Monty Python.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah. He loved
exactly.
Monty Python. I just want to talk real quick about being a sports agent. I had Rick Barry on recently, who lives here locally.
Oh, I was just talking to Marv Albert yesterday about him and his kids.
Really?
Yeah, we have a mutual friend. He signs autographs for a buddy of mine.
Oh, cool. He's a big pickleball player now.
Oh, really? He did appearances for me. I used to use him to do appearances in the camps.
Yeah, yeah. He's a good guy. He's a good guy.
Oh man, was he a player? He was an
Yeah.
amazing player.
But you represented Jack Hacksaw Reynolds, which was
Yeah,
very cool. He was a mean player, man. He was good.
he
He
was
did-
mean. Yeah, he played his heart out. And I'll tell you something.
yeah.
He changed those 49ers around. I
Yes, he
know
did.
Montana got the credit for the offense, but there's no question Hacksaw really, and they know it. Bill Walsh knew it, and they said what he did for the defense was as equal as Montana did, because that defense. It's a shame John McVay just passed away, and that
Hmm.
was the general manager I dealt with, and I dealt with Bill Walsh, and yeah, Hacksaw really dedicated himself. There's a series on him alone. It could be a TV series.
Oh yeah. I
Yeah,
didn't realize how he got his nickname. I know you do.
yeah. Hacksaw's
Cutting the
amazing.
car in half.
Hacksaw was an amazing client. Yep.
Very cool.
He
You
was
did Mark.
so, I'll tell you something, he was so incredible that it was too much, to the point where when the team wanted him to play the weak side, he told Bill Walsh he has to call me. And, oh, you got to call my agent, and honestly, I didn't know my football as well,
Yeah.
I never forget the night before the Super Bowl, we're having dinner, and he's saying to me, "Hey, Keena Turner this, and Keena Turner that, and Keena Turner this," and I'm saying to myself, "I can Tina Turner. What do they have to do with me?"
That's funny.
Oh, he taught me a lot. He taught me a lot about sports. I could do a whole podcast just on Hacksaw. It was amazing.
Mark
Well,
Bravaro.
one
Yep.
of my favorites was In Your Neighborhood, Lou Pinella.
Lupinella, yeah, he's from Tampa.
He's from
Yeah.
Tampa. And another favorite of mine is Dave Maganan,
Yep.
another
Oh yeah.
Tampa boy.
That's right.
Max is amazing. He was an amazing ball player, amazing hitting coach. You know, the career that he's had. And I just watched the Nolan Ryan documentary, and the last
I
player
s-
that
that was cool, wasn't it? I saw that.
was Max.
Yeah. What was it like working with Lou, man? I mean, we know him on the
Oh,
field.
so, so I learned, I would learn a lot from these people. Where else am I going to learn from? You can't learn this stuff in college.
Hmm.
Lou taught me to be a fierce competitor and play hard but work hard. And he was so passionate about his baseball and so
Right.
passionate about his work. And I learned a lot about his workmanship. He worked hard. He every day he was training with, just like I talked to you earlier about guitar players. He walked around all day with a bat. He'd walk into my office, and just first thing he'd go for is the bat and practice that swing. Um, he was dedicated. He taught me to laugh too.
Yeah.
But to play hard, work hard, play hard.
What a team the Yankees had back then, right?
Ooh,
Ray,
Bucky Dent,
Randolph and Reggie Jackson and
yeah,
Chambliss. Yeah, that was a great
Chris
team.
Chambliss, yeah, Nettles.
Yeah. I was living in Fort Lauderdale at the time, and right down the street was the park.
Yeah, I
Their
remember
park was
that.
in Lauderdale. Yeah.
Yeah, the Yankees. That was and George Steinbrenner, he wanted to win. That's all he wanted to do was win. I don't care what people said about him. Him and I negotiated Lou's contract, and he would have paid Lou any amount of money if you can guarantee him. He just wanted to win, whatever it
Yeah.
took to win. And Aaron Judge would have been a Yankee by now if George was there. His kid's too slow.
Yeah. I like Steinbrenner. And of course, the Seinfeld version, too.
Love Steinbrenner. You know what? Steinbrenner just wanted to win.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He was great. He's actually, I was at the same hospital that he was at in Sarasota Memorial Hospital. So, yeah,
He's a
he
good
was here
man.
a lot, too, because they had the exhibition stadium. It's in Tampa.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to
How about
mention your other
Brady?
books.
You have so much sports there. Tom Brady. I just
Yes.
got a dog. And my kid named it Brady.
Yeah,
Love
Brady.
Tom Brady.
We were lucky to get Brady, you know?
You're lucky to get Brady. God bless him. I feel bad he's going through a divorce, so he went
Yeah.
through it. But I think they did it right, and especially their kids.
Hmm.
And my message to Tom Brady is the next one's better.
The next one's better. This will be his third, right? Don't they say it's the
Yeah,
third
third's
time
the
around?
charm.
Third time's
Yeah.
a charm. Yeah. Well, your other books, Putting It on the Line, okay, which is also about sports and entertainment. That's out.
That's really a lot about my negotiation. I got that deal based on my negotiation with Steinbrenner.
Okay.
Yeah, that was basically a negotiating book.
I'm getting all
Uh,
your books. I'm getting all your
yeah,
books. I'm going to order them tonight.
Okay.
Rock
That
Your
one,
Business, of course. And
Rocky Business is the one really about. I wanted to give ideas to people
mhm.
about what they have an idea like you do, and what you can do to. It's basically a textbook on what I've done and how I used to make my deals.
Here's a question I ask everybody. Usually it's some musicians, but I'm going to ask you as well. If you had a Field of Dreams wish, like the movie, to say work with, collaborate with, or maybe promote or whatever, be an agent to or whatever, who would that be? From the past or present, who would that be? I mean, it could be somebody that's already passed away.
I usually get the question of who I'd love to come to Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp.
Okay, let's do that one then.
So let's go with Paul McCartney.
Paul McCartney, have you approached him?
I haven't approached him. I know it would be difficult, but I'm hoping one day him or, Mick and Keith, they did The Simpsons for me, so that was amazing. And they did it for The Simpsons, not really for me, but they did it on Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp. I approached Eric Clapton,
Right.
and I said to him, I know you do benefits for your charity. I said, I'll get you 100 campers, pay $10,000 each to jam with you. Okay, you'll make $1 million and donate it to
Whoa.
charity.
Wow.
So
That's
that's
incredible.
a standing offer.
Standing offer, yeah. That's awesome, man. I tell you, I interview a lot of guys. I can put out the word out. I just did Alan Parsons. He'd be a good one, huh? What do you
Yeah,
think?
Alan's good. He's a good guy. I
Yeah.
know him. You know, he's a but yeah, Alan Parsons is interesting.
I did
Um,
Kenny Jones recently.
Kenny Jones
Yeah.
to get because and now we want where's he living?
He's in England.
He's in it.
Yeah.
It's a problem. Yeah, but if he's here, yeah, Kenny. Oh, I love him as a drummer. He's amazing.
He told me he's doing an album right now with Rod Stewart, The Faces again. And
Really?
he says he's gonna tour
Well, that would be great. Yeah,
The
Kenny
Faces
Jones
back together again.
with Ron Wood.
Yeah, with Ron Wood. Yeah.
Why not? All good things come back.
That's what he told me.
Yeah. Who else?
I had Mark Stein on recently, Vanilla Fudge. Arthur Brown.
Okay.
How about Arthur Brown?
Arthur Brown. From where?
Yeah, that'd be
Why
crazy,
not?
huh?
Yeah.
I'm just looking at the
Let me
guys
know
I
when
had
you
on
go
recently.
when you go younger. Let me know when you go with like the Weezer and Fall Out Boy.
Yeah,
And those are the next that's the next generation I'm gonna go after.
I've done Candlebox.
Great.
Who else? All the the guys along those lines.
I love yeah, they do my camp.
They do your camp.
Yeah.
How about Blind Melon? I know the guy from Blind Melon, the guitar player.
Yeah, I heard about them. There's a keyboard player from Blind Melon, and you can always give out my email. I'd love to talk to them.
Yeah,
Sure, I'm
definitely.
totally open. Totally
Okay.
open.
Yeah, if I can help in any way, I'll be more than
Appreciate it.
happy to.
Appreciate it. Well, thank you.
I want to thank you, man, for being on the show today, David. It's a real honor. It really is.
Well, you did. You know what I love? Anytime call me because anyone who does their homework, I love to. It's the people that don't. They talk about your movie and they've never seen it. So
I hate that.
I hate that.
Same
I
thing
hate
with
that.
reviewing albums. They don't, they look at the cover.
Right. Look at the cover. Right. Listen to a song and then they tell me about that third cut. You talk with Paul. Well, I'll tell you about it, but did you hear it yet?
Exactly. That's the fun part about interviewing people, learning about them
Yes.
and the music and everything, you know?
For me, I'll tell you what's interesting. For me, I did a camp with Phil Lesh. I can't tell you how much research I did on the Grateful Dead and how much I did before the camp. On this camp, I thought I knew everything about the Beatles. But you know what? Now I had May Pang come and give me her book and John Lennon's book by John Patterson. And I just can't wait to keep getting into it. There's, you keep learning and learning and learning. So it's always good.
Yeah. I was going to mention, how about Julian Lennon? I've had Julian Lennon on the show, but he might be a little scared, maybe.
Julian, I love Julian. He showed up to a rock camp one night.
Oh, did he?
He showed up to the final show.
Right.
So did Prince. Prince showed up to a final show of Rock and Roll
Very
Fantasy
cool.
Camp. The night before he's doing American Idol, he wanted to see what it was like. Amateurs playing. So Julian Lennon showed up to the Playboy Mansion, and someone invited him into our final show. And I think the waitress wasn't nice to him, or they weren't nice to him, and he left. And so it wasn't my fault. But Julian Lennon, I would love. And now, you know what, you reminded me. I'm going to ask May Pang because they're very close.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
I just had Martin Barr on the show. How about him?
Martin who?
Martin Barr from Jethro Tull, guitar player.
Oh, wow. Hold on. But there was another guy from Jethro Tull who passed away who's on my way to the camp.
Okay.
But I like Ian Anderson. I asked Ian to do the camp.
What did he
say?
About
10 years ago, he sent me a 5-page letter that he's not a rock star.
That he's not a rock star?
Love that album.
Yeah.
My brother was a musician. Aqualog is probably my old-time favorite album.
I love Ian. I had him on recently with the last album, the Zealot Gene. Yeah. He was
he's amazing.
He's so intelligent. Very intelligent guy.
He's so intelligent. Yeah. He's too smart for himself.
Yeah, exactly. How do you want to give me your email address so I can send you the book?
Everybody can have it. David@rockcamp.com.
Okay.
And tell everybody to go to rockcamp.com and get all the information on the book. And I really appreciate anyone that buys the book and helps the foundation.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. I want to say special thanks to Michelle Gutenstein of Park Life Unlimited PR for arranging this interview with David. Like you said, you can purchase the book, An Oral History, 25 Years of the Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp. by David Fishof, and is it Travis Tria?
Travis Atteria. Yeah, he's written
Okay.
a lot of great books. He's a Florida boy too, and he
Oh,
really
good.
did a great job.
It's available at Amazon.
Yeah, it's on Amazon. And, you know, Barnes & Noble. Amazon gives you the best price.
Rock Camp, the video, also,
Yeah.
which stars Alice Cooper, Roger Daltrey, Sammy Hagar, Judas Priest, directed by Doug Blush.
You know, Doug Blush did 20 Feet from Stardom. He's very famous, and he's won 3 Academy Awards. And,
Really?
yeah, he's an amazing job.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And of course, www.rockcamp.com. Rockcamp the movie, www.rockcampthemovie.com.
Yeah, a lot of stuff.
David, thank you, man. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Please stay in touch.
All right, I sure will. I appreciate it.
I want to laugh about the Syrian family.
You'll love it.
I can't wait.
You know what? Maybe I'll send you the script too, because the script is funny. It's funnier than the book. So I'll send it to you. See what you think. I'll let you critique it.
Thank you.
All right, David. Take care, man.
All the best. Take care.
Bye-bye.
What happened to all the musical legends that transformed our lives in the 60s, 70s, and 80s? Today, hackers illegally download music. Online music stores popularize cheap digital singles. And radio stations promote manufactured singers that menace the airwaves with auto-tuned music. The Rockstar Chronicles conveys the wisdom and truth of a generation of rock gods that shaped our modern musical culture. It features intimate conversations with over 45 rock stars that any baby boomer will instantly recognize. The Rockstar Chronicles will transport you back to a time before advertisers ruled the airwaves. A time when the music mattered.